Okay, taking a look here at Dr. Rick Ferris, member here at Longview. He is 74 years old, has been playing golf as long as he can remember, and is currently a 16 handicap. Did shoot a 74 this past season, though, so a lot of potential there, and you'll kind of see it in his golf swing as well. Did a full assessment today of his golf game, fighting some confidence issues a little bit, where he thinks he has some issues with his technique, which kind of leads to some issues on the course regards to his feel. And we'll kind of show here there are some small issues with his mechanics, but really nothing too severe. If anything, we're just going to make some small changes or attempt to make some small changes that will probably yield a little bit more distance, a little better release through impact, and that'll give him just a little more confidence, I think, going towards the golf course. So a couple things to look at here is his setup. Setup's really, really good. As you can see here, he's got nice posture there with a nice little tilt at the top of the neck, and real nice here as well, nice athletic position. And then same here from the side, you can see good position in the setup there with that left arm kind of falling right down the shaft line, and then that right arm is nice and relaxed. Nice relaxed knees. Everything's really, really good in the setup. As we take the club away, do a couple checks here. What I like to do is see how we're rotating as well as where that club's moving as we rotate. So we take the club back here. Real nice takeaway at the top here. Doesn't have to be, the club head doesn't have to be here. We see that a lot of guys on tour. Not necessarily a requirement, especially for an amateur player. What we're really looking for more than anything is what we call matchups, which is where the club face here and the left arm here are fairly parallel or as close to as possible. And you can see that's pretty darn good. So no real changes need to be made there. If anything, for the takeaway, if he wants to, have a fade that he can rely on, have the club feel like it comes back and the club face is more aligned with his hands, so a little more of an outside takeaway, that'll kind of create more of a nice solid cut motion. And then the more inside he goes, the more it'll probably end up creating a little bit more of a turning, a draw motion or hook motion. So you can make those motions happen just by a different takeaway. So one thing you can look at there. On the bottom, again, pretty solid here. Would like in a perfect world maybe to get a little more hinged this way, which would actually get that club probably more somewhere in this area up on the top. But again, really small things there, nothing crazy, so I wouldn't really get too focused there. Here's where we're going to try to make some changes. So at the top of his backswing, okay, again here, mechanically speaking or matchup speaking, there's the club face, there's his arm. So fairly close to parallel, but you can see a little bit of an issue there. So what we're going to look for is we're going to try to get that shaft or get that left arm position actually a little more where that red line is, so a little bit more steep, a little more upright. And in order to do that, we're going to take a look at the bottom video here, and I want you to notice where his knee positions are. Okay, so here's the beginning. There's the knees right across the board right there. Okay, so as we go up to the top, a good backswing for someone, especially who maybe lacks a little bit of flexibility and mobility, is going to be trying to get that right leg to actually straighten up a little bit. So you can see here the knees have kind of stayed right in position. That's a good position if you have a lot of hip mobility, a lot of lower back mobility, and a lot of strength there. But as we kind of get a little older, we start losing that ability, and that's when we start jumping at it, casting at it, sliding into it, things like that. So to help combat that, we're actually going to try to get that right knee to work more up in this area. Okay, so get a little higher, try that a little better. So get that knee up a little higher. It's going to feel like that right knee is kind of straightening up, that leg straightening up a little bit. And the image that we're looking for here is as if you are going to pull the cord on a lawnmower and really create that tension, like you're really building up some power. That right arm's working more vertical. That right knee is straightening up a little bit. And what's going to happen as you do this, that right knee straightens up, that right hip's going to get a little higher than the lower hip, than the left hip, right? So you're creating a little bit more speed. You're getting your whole body a little more up, a little more upright. And in turn, when you get a little more upright, that arm position is going to go from being, where's that blue line, from going here to a little more this way, which will in turn get it perfectly parallel now with his club face. So now he's going to have a better matchup with his club face and with his shoulder positions. So that's one thing that we're going to look at making a big change of, which I think is going to help create a lot more distance. And in turn, as we come now into impact, okay, as we come to impact, watch the bottom one here and watch how much the slide happens, right? So a lot of excess lower body motion to slide into impact. And see now the club face at the bottom is starting to have some issues. And now if you look at the top as well, we're right here. So Dr. Ferris thinks that he's coming over the top, and we're going to kind of prove him here that he's not, or he says he kind of has fought that a long time. You can see, yes, maybe a little bit initially, but notice how well he brings that club right in. Now it's right down the shaft line. It's perfect. In addition to that, club face, shaft, perfect. So really good positions there from a face and body perspective. However, because he has slid so much, you're going to see this release is very left, borderline flippy, right? So you can see how there's the club face over there. So a lot of excess hand motion, and you can see his whole lower body is already completely turned, which is great. He's got a lot of rotation, but it's happening improperly, right? It's going this way, where in turn what we want it to do is actually start shifting more. So the goal would be to not have to slide as much, but rather feel more of a pivot and a fire that way. So that's going to help hold some power in, create a little more distance for him, and a little bit more consistency. So in conclusion, we're going to focus a lot on the proper backswing and just trying to set the position at the top with a little bit of a better angle, and that'll make impact and create a little more speed for him on the downswing, and hopefully improve him a little more long term. All right. Any questions? Just shoot me a message.